I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone in affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another live video. And in this live video, guys, I just want to let you know I am going to be joined by none other than my brother, K Mega. You see his icon like dancing around the screen there. I'm trying to figure out where I can put the icon to show properly that he is here. What is up, K Mega?
What's going on, man? Had a really long night at fight night, you know what I'm saying, and woke up not too long ago to this news. Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like I thought I was like what is this? And yeah, really big day for gamers, man.
Crazy, man. For people who don't know, people who are just tuning in, Xbox promised that they were gonna reveal information about the next generation Xbox. I know a lot of people say Series X because that's what they've shown. But somebody on one of the two videos that I watched literally said that the next generation is literally called Xbox. And what you're seeing in terms of that kind of like rectangular, what you're seeing on the screen is the Series X version, which leads me to believe that Project Lockhart will come out as well. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. They really went in, gave specs of the Series X. They talked about the CPU. They talked about the GPU. They talked about clocks. They talked about the memory. They went in full force and really shared a lot of information. Now, K Mega, you said that you just woke up not too long ago, but did you check out the information that we got for the Series X, bro?
I did. Also, Xbox Mick, I think, Mike, whatever, 29 said I'm echoing really hard. So
really,
yeah.
Hold on here. Let me try to fix that.
I do like my voice being projected into like a make it full surround sound, but
that's so weird. Like, and for the first time in a while since I've been using this this hand-me-down computer from Snaps, usually I get echo in my headset, and everybody else hears the rest of the panel and stuff when we do next podcast absolutely fine. Xbox Mick 29, is it sounding better?
Is it sounding a lot better now?
All right, hopefully it is, bro.
Hopefully
it is. I will be back here hitting switches, pulling levers, trying to get everything.
He said it's okay. I think he put the thumbs up, so.
Okay, cool.
All
right. So we got a lot of information, man. There's a couple things that really stuck out to me. There was a couple features, a couple things that they're doing that really stuck out to me. If you guys are numbers people and you want the complete rundown as we're talking, you will see the numbers. You will see the CPU information, GPU information, the memory information, all that stuff. You will see it on the screen. So if you're just all about the numbers, we got you covered. All right. All you have to do is read exactly what they're saying on the screen. You'll know exactly what's going on, and you'll be happy. But K Mega, we all know it's not just about numbers. So with this information, let me know, because we're doing first impressions here. After watching these videos, what was the information that really clung to you afterwards when you're thinking about this now? Like the first things with features and the power set and the structure. Like what are the main points that have stuck with you? What's in your head right now with this whole thing?
Well, feature-wise, it's definitely the quick resume and the ray tracing. Those things blew me away. Watching and seeing what they would, because of a game that I'm not even really I don't even care about, which is Minecraft, and showing the regular mode of it and then hitting the ray tracing mode made it look like a completely different game. And then I didn't get to finish all of the what his name was, Adam something, whatever, his
Austin.
video.
Austin.
Austin, my bad.
Yeah, a straight PC guy right there too.
Yeah,
Man.
straight PC guy, and the excitement in his voice and everything. But when he showed another angle of where he was showing like this is like a hallway, and there was like you see the lights down at the bottom, and then he turned on the ray tracing, and you seen it. Look, it was beautiful. Like it showed all these little different color patterns that was underneath of the hallway, and I just was like, damn.
You know,
Wow.
beautiful is not usually a word related with Minecraft, brother.
No, but that was absolutely stunning. And then just the fact that, see, again, Ori and this right here, just seeing what the technology within this box can display makes you come out and say words like this is insane to me. It's then also when you showed the part of where there was lava falling, and then when he turned on the ray tracing mode, it showed the reflection on the railroad track of the lava. It just it was a reflection that was just. I'm like, wow! And this game is probably one of the most ugliest games you ever want to see.
Yo, for real.
It's not even pretty, but that's just a testament to this new technology that's going to be in this box. And then of course, they showed Gears, they showed Halo 5, but the quick resume is just sticking with me like crazy because it showed and that's something to me that I like when I'm definitely playing certain games and we got to wait for load times and things like that. But just seeing that a game like State of Decay 2, it does have a very long load time. It comes from on the box on the regular on the X. It's like 15, 16 seconds to wait, and it's dropped down dramatically to like 6 seconds.
I think they showed like
X.
an over 30-second kind of like loading, and
Right.
the person was able to get in what, like you said, like 12, 15 seconds, maybe something like that.
Right, yeah, like it was ridiculous. I mean, and then when it did the quick resume, which is another feature I thought that would be pretty cool. It was like, boom, boom, they took it over, and everything was 5.4 seconds. The longest it was like 6.2, 6.3, something like that. Yeah, a little bit after 6 seconds, or between 6 and 7 seconds. That is still dramatically faster than anything that we've played. And I mean, the X is primarily the most powerful console right now, and it doesn't even hold a candle to what the Series X is going to become. I mean,
dude, say that again, like, dude, that's the thing right there. The One X is the most powerful console out there right now. Mm-hmm. And the Series X made it look like a Tiger handheld in some instances, which is
it made it look like the Game Boy. I mean, it was just not the Switch, but the Game Boy. That's how I'm saying. That's how dramatically different it is with just the load times, the technology within it, and just other things. So, I mean, what were some of the things that gravitated to you on here, Bot?
Well, first off, I got my phone alarm going off. It is 1:40. For some rhyme or reason, my phone always goes off at 1:40. I never shut it off, yo.
That's bot time. I don't know. That's crazy.
There you go. It's bot time. But
bot time.
First thing foremost, the size of the Series X, and I know a lot of people. Shout out to Xbox for having a sense of humor when people like made memes about the size and everything, because they came out with a graphic today that showed the actual comparison to a Series X and a big black refrigerator. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But when you look at the size, it's pretty much as tall as the Xbox One X if you have it up in tower form, if you have it standing straight up. I believe the reference was it's about the size of 2 GameCubes stacked on top of each other. And I think people are making a bigger deal out of the size than what really needs to be. I can see this fitting perfectly. When it comes to the features, I'm going to go a little tech on you, brother. I'm going to go a little tech on you. I know I'm gonna let you be country, man, so you can chime in on this like as much as you want. But
That's fine.
when
Have
when
at it.
when it comes to the system memory, one word really screams out to me about this console, and it's efficiency. With the system memory, there's 16 gigabytes of memory, right? 10 gigabytes are optimal for the GPU, and they run at 560 gigabytes per second. The other 6 gigabytes are known as standard memory, and they run at 336 gigabytes per second. Now, the reason why I think this is cool, and the reason why the word efficiency comes to mind with this, is because you can take that 10 gigabytes and allocate that as a developer, really go in graphically using those 10 gigabytes and go in on the graphics and use kind of like the standard clock speed memory to take care of the AI, the gunplay, all that other stuff, really making it efficient. Now, you can use it all as just like a pool of memory if you're a developer and if you want to. But to have the option to really optimize graphical memory that will be at a higher clock speed to really get the most out of those graphics, and then use the standard memory for like the AI, like I said, the gunplay, all the other aspects to the game, to me, that is absolute innovation in the console space. And I think a lot of developers are really going to go in and mess with that, especially first party. We all know first party is going to utilize every little trick in the book that comes with the Series X, every little absolute feature that they can use. First party is going to use that. So that was insane. So now with that, I got more.
Oh yeah.
All right, with that,
I got a couple of more things.
K Mega, does that make sense? What I said about the memory, how they have a higher speed with 10 gigabytes that you can as a developer, basically you could direct your graphics to that memory, all right, and then in an efficient way you have kind of like the slower system memory that deals with all the other stuff. Can you see the word efficiency in that scenario right there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that to me is quite impressive. And of course, I'm not as elegant when it comes to talking about these terms. That's why I don't really touch them, and like to be involved talking with somebody that can talk about it a lot more thoroughly than I could ever do it. Because to me, I am a little concerned about what's in the box, but not as much as the features. I'm more of a features guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the technology can bring to add to what the games are going to be like when they come onto my television. I'm more of that person that's interested in that. I mean, even though I also like to hear and see all the stuff that they're talking about, it's just that I don't want to sound like one of these guys that try to talk like at one point in time at the beginning of this generation where I had no idea what the hell any of this stuff was, to knowing just a little bit, but coming off as acting like now I'm this savant that just knows every detail about what's going on in these boxes. So that's why I don't try to touch on those topics, as much. But I mean, yeah, no, I think another thing that and I don't think that you added it yet was the ML, was the
yeah, we'll get to that when we start talking about like back and pat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to me,
I got what you were saying, and I hope everybody else got it too. I mean, the efficiency, the whole situation with they were talking about the 3.8 gigahertz or whatever of keeping it sustainable. You know what I'm saying? No, it's just going straight forward. That's impressive to me as well, because I mean, if you got to have one hell of a cooling system, and on top of that,
did you see that heat sink that's in there?
That's what I was
vapor
saying.
chamber.
That bitch was huge, bro. I was like, golly. So I mean, they did this system right. I don't see why anybody could be concerned. And on top of that, like looking at, they're getting these people out here. Digital Foundry, they did it again, just like they did with the X. And somebody in the chat was saying, "Oh, well, now we're disrespecting the X." No, we're not. I'm not disrespecting.
No, not at all. Like,
it's not that. It's just saying in comparison to what the X is, which is the most powerful console right now. This thing is way far and beyond that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, you know, when you think of like 4 times more, it doesn't sound as impressive until you actually see what this console is capable of doing. Like, I mean, and this is just a tidbit. They got so much more that they want to show. So yeah, I mean, it's impressive. This Series X is going to be very impressive, man.
All right.
I'm
So,
I'm excited. Damn, I'm
yo,
excited.
yo, brother, the next thing I want to talk about, of course, is ray tracing. And dude, you have been with me since, you know, we've been together doing shows and stuff for a long time, bro. Long time. Now, when, you know, information started coming out about this next generation coming up, you've been in DMs, we've been on shows together. I've been telling people that ray tracing is gonna be that feature. I know a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people in the community have tried to downplay exactly what ray tracing can do. And you know, we're seeing it with Minecraft, and the thing that gets me, as I believe with this Minecraft, it's from what Digital Foundry said, and of course, always take what Digital Foundry says with a grain of rice. You know how I feel about them, right?
Right.
They said this is the most purest form of ray tracing. First off, they're absolutely surprised that this is running on console. You can
Right.
see it. You can see it from
Yeah.
Austin. You can see it from Digital Foundry and the people over there. All said and done, the amount of ray tracing that's going on here, without all the efficiency kind of like features in the Series X right now, would take about 13 T-flops of graphical power
Right.
just for the ray tracing. Dude, what do you think about that, bro?
That's insane. And so that's why I come and I brought this up when we were talking about I think it was just this past Saturday. When it came, like, what does the cloud have to, what will it do? Just okay, just, you know what I'm saying? What will the cloud input to this to make, will it enhance it to where it'll make it to give a better performance? I don't know, but I know that they're really going in. I think that's what their next video is probably going to talk about, is talk about what the cloud features that will be added to this console, and to probably, I guess, all the rest of the Xbox family. But that, and then just the, you know, like, HDR is one of those things. I'm getting on my crispy moment. I'm going away from
Game changer right there. HDR is a game changer.
HDR is the game changer. That was what, you know, that's what made me get the television that I got, and just like, man, I want to, you know, be right there to see it, and it's boom. But just think about this ray tracing with the HDR. Holy shit! I don't even. I mean, talking about making your eyes bleed. Like, this is, we're talking about crazy PC performance in a console, and it's going to be sad if people don't have the right televisions to experience this. Because if you still holding on to that 1080p television and you're still being hard-headed and saying, look, all these graphics look the same, no, they don't. Bot can tell you that.
Yo, I
now.
can tell. Yeah, I am living proof. Like, the 4K is great. Like that. Yeah,
Right.
It was the HDR that really put it over the top. Yo, when I'm playing games like Forza Horizon 4, yo, Ori and the Will of the Wisps looks absolutely incredible with the HDR. And you know, it's funny talking about TV. I think this is a feature that a lot of people are going to skip over. If you have, like you said, the proper TV, when you turn on your Xbox Series X and start your game, your Series X will tell the TV to go.
I was just gonna, I was
Okay,
gonna.
go
That's
ahead.
what I was gonna. Well, no, that's what I was going to do. Like I said, let me do my little crispy. Gonna go away, because I was talking about the HDR and then moving
The only
into
thing,
the.
you don't sound like
ray
the
tracing.
Marlboro Man while you're saying it.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
so.
I know. Hold on, let me see. No, I can't do it.
No,
This
you
voice
can't.
is too wild. Anyway, so shout out to Crispy. But this is the thing here that blows my mind, because on top of this, you have HDR. Then you're going to be implemented with ray tracing, and of course, you got to have the proper television. But then you don't even have to hit somebody up or look on YouTube to get your TV to be calibrated properly, to get the proper settings from your Xbox, because the Xbox will do it for you. Now, it's a crazy fact. The X has the same thing. I had to look at a YouTube channel, and and get this information, because I had no idea that it could do it as well. But once you go in there and you put in everything for the HDR, for FreeSync, whatever, all that stuff, and you do all this, it also gets, you got to tap the button a couple of times and then it show different type of patterns, and then boom, it's already done it for you. Only thing you got to do is turn on game mode and it's ready to go. But this takes it to another level, because it's actually going to turn your game mode on for you and calibrate it to where it's going to give you it's going to make your television look the best that it can. And it even said on even older model 4K televisions. Not so, like I said, 1080p televisions, it's not going to happen, Jack. If you got a 720, I don't know what to tell you. You don't even need to be gaming, in my opinion. But especially, I mean, we can still game, but you can't be talking about anything with power, graphics, anything. You got to step the game up on that. But it's crazy of how efficient that this console is already looking to be, and also having these capabilities to try to help the gamer out without trying to even go through more hoops. It's just like, hey, plug, play, let's get to it. I got you. All you need to worry about is the game. And
that's the spirit of console right there.
That's what I'm saying. That is something that is way more far advanced to me than PC, because PC, you got to do everything in order to get it to look the best, the overclock, all that. The console is this now, it's on the same level as a high-end PC, and on top of that, it's helping you out without you having to do it. That is insane. That's a great service.
Dude, turning on your Series X and have it, optimized to your TV, turn on the game mode on your TV for you, all that good stuff, man. It's everything kind of working together for your gaming experience. And I absolutely love the fact that they put that in there. Now, I'm trying to think about, what has been shown, and, I gotta say, for me, the absolute gem, and guys, here's the thing. I know my brother Crap is out there talking about, we need to see games and stuff, and I agree with him on that. People get excited for the entire thing when it comes to a new generation of consoles. Like, I can go back and point back to the beginning of this generation, and like PlayStation tweeting the most powerful console, this, that, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And the games do go along with that. All right. We are going to get a launch lineup, and we're going to see the future of games before this system comes out. All right. But that's no rhyme or reason to not be excited if you are excited by what's underneath the hood of this and the potential of this system.
And Bot, one more thing too. Did you hear the Digital Foundry guy kind of in a low key way kind of confirmed those graphics for Hellblade 2? He says the reason why you could get this fidelity and all of this is because of one certain thing, and then they went and showed the clip of Hellblade, of showing where the mountains and all that. So he's basically saying, oh, I was skeptical about how this looked like this, if this is something else, but he kind of pretty much confirmed it himself, of like, yeah, I can believe it now that these graphics is going to look insane coming from this box. I don't know if you caught that part.
I didn't catch what he was saying there. I saw when they switched over to Hellblade, Hellblade 2, and to be honest with you, that is one of my absolute, probably favorite teasers all time, because I know there's like certain coding under what they showed. We talked about this before with seeing kind of like the army behind her in the background, showing the I don't know if it's Celtic compass at the end, kind of like, pointing to a larger scope game and stuff like that. That was an absolutely awesome teaser. I gotta say, when it comes to backwards compatibility, right? Because they're not showing new games right now. What they have done with something called machine learning, and it was something that I was kind of questioning, like off screen. Like, are they going to put ML? ML is short for machine learning. You're going to hear me say ML a lot. Are they putting ML into the box? Because I know Microsoft, as a corporation, has really invested in machine learning moving forward. So has Samsung, and so has like other companies. Machine learning is a quote unquote thing now. It's a big thing, right? and they have it in the Series X to the point. You guys know me with Halo 5. You know how hardcore I went into that game. They showed a demo of Halo 5 in HDR. Now, the cool thing about it is 343 never coded HDR into the game. It was all through machine learning. What the Series X did was it looked at what the Coalition did in Gears 5 and it replicated its coding for HDR and put it in Halo 5 to play on the Series X. Brother, what are we buying here, man?
I don't know, man. Look, we're deep into the PC universe with a console. I understand that PCs can, you can still buy a more powerful PC than the S, and then eventually when we find out more about the PlayStation 5. But for the price that we're going to be getting this console, or these consoles, it's not even in comparison, especially if you're a console player that is all about the plug-and-play experience. It's insane to hear that. And then, of course, that those rumors as well about not on top with ML, but with that new AI system that they were going to be implementing as well to make your enemies be a lot more smarter and make more like human player decisions.
Well, it'll learn
games.
It'll learn what you're doing. All right, and I know we've heard this before.
Yeah.
It'll learn what you're doing, and then it'll adjust the AI to counteract what you're doing to get through the levels to make it more of a challenge and stuff like that. And I know, like say the Fear franchise, it was known, even to this day, it's known for its advanced AI, right? This is that next level when it comes to it, and the system can implement this into the game when it comes to machine learning. Now, we have a couple questions. Like No Russian says, what does machine learning do exactly? When it comes down to this, there's a lot of things that I'm going to go in and do a lot more extensive research on. But from what I'm seeing with what it did with the Halo 5 and the HDR, like I said, it took a look at how it was running Gears, right? How Gears runs on the system, and it basically coded in HDR to be run in Halo 5, even though the developers didn't code that in. They used the same method that the Coalition did to put HDR, and like when it comes down to it, Gears 5 looks absolutely incredible in HDR. K Mega, can you attest to this, brother?
Oh, absolutely.
And
I see that, man. And I'm glad I was watching it on my phone, because I normally watch anything YouTube is on my monitor, and my monitor is only a 1080p monitor. And so, but my phone is 4K. So I was like, what the? I was like, oh yeah, that's what kind of woke me up was. Because I was still like, what am I looking at? This thing is insane. But then when they showed Gears, and then they said, look, it was only what 2-week project. They didn't even put any of the true added features within the game. And then they showed Halo 5. And of course, I'm going to let you say one of your little favorite games, old OG Xbox games.
Well, guess what, dude?
Yeah.
I don't even have to say that. Elemental Pio in the super chat already put it in there, man.
Oh, did he? I'm over here looking. Was trying to find, give somebody like a more definition of what ML is, from looking at it online. And so I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm reading it, and I'm still not understanding it myself. It's basically like, it's talking about it's giving an example. Well, hold on. Let me just read this part. It said, it's an artificial intelligence in computer gaming coined the term machine learning. His name, the person I guess who made it was Arthur Samuel. He says the field of study that gives computers the capability to learn without being to not being programmed. So it's so you're not
Terminator type shit, right?
Yeah,
there.
Terminator type shit. So it's basically like, It says can be explained as automating and improving the learning process of computers based on their experiences without being actually programmed, i.e., without any human assistance. The process starts with feeding good quality data and then training our machines, computers, by building machine learning models using the data and different algorithms. The choice of algorithms depend on what type of data do we have and what kind of task we are trying to automate. Well, there you go, guys.
There you go. Yo,
We're
he.
on our way out of here. We're doing some Matrix, some other crazy shit going on here. That is stupid. That's stupid. Get the hell out of here.
Oh my goodness. And again, shout out to Elementa Pio hitting up that super chat. He says auto HDR was also added to Fusion Frenzy on the Series X. Hardware level HDR for OG Xbox games. Brother, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yo, shout out to Chris Datch for showing that thumbs up. And yeah, that's it, man. People who haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up. We are going live to let you guys know our thoughts on what we just saw with the Series X, kind of like full specs kind of reveal. Digital Foundry. We had Austin. I forget the last part of that YouTube channel name. But, and I think there were other people. I saw other people that were checking out the Series X when they were kind of like recording their footage and whatnot. So Xbox has grabbed a bunch of people to really check this out and to bring that information out here. And now we're bringing that information to you guys. But yeah, that HDR, and it just blows my mind that it's not coded in the game, but the Series X can look at that and be like, psh, man, we're gonna bump this up a little bit and implement an HDR kind of like process to a game that isn't even coded with it. Like that right there. And K Mega, when it comes to backwards compatibility, they're saying the performance of what they've done on the hardware side to bring games like up to 4K and stuff like that are running backwards compatible on the Xbox One X. When it comes to the Series X, they actually have a more evolved version of that. And you're going to see even better performance from your OG Xbox games, your 360 games, your Xbox One games, better resolutions, all that good stuff, man. I got to say, in terms of Microsoft and their whole bringing your library with you, going back to the OG Xbox, K-Mega, they're all in on that, right? It's kind of obvious.
I mean, absolutely. And this is the one thing that I was wanting to know. I knew that the OG games was going to, or let's say the backwards compatible games were going to look good on this new system. But I also wanted to know how is it, because when you play in an old game on PC, of course, with it, for however your PC is, if you got a more powerful high, whatever. I can't even talk right now. I'm still flabbergasted.
You got a cup of coffee with you, man?
Man, I do need a cup of coffee. Like I said, it was a long night at fight night and a lot of drinking. So anyway, but you got those.
Hold on, K-Meg. I gotta, Mr. Kima just threw something out there, and I think you would like to think about this. Mm-hmm. HDR in Rise, Son of Rome.
Lord Jesus. See, I wasn't even thinking about Rise, but I'm gonna download Rise right now and play it again. God damn it. Anyway, but the thing I was trying to say is, with the older games, I knew that it was going to look better, but I was like, is it going to give me the same type of look and get the same type of optimization as you do with the PC to make them really pop? Well, adding the HDR, and then when they showed the Gears, right? When they showed the old classic Gears, and they showed it was in 4K, running at 60. And then they haven't added any of the other features to it. So just think about if you are capable of getting some ray tracing added to that as well. What the hell are we talking about? Like, these games are going to be looking insane. Like the Final Fantasy Lightning Saga, they look so good. Especially their cutscenes look absolutely like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Avid Children ridiculous, right?
Yo,
I can't imagine what these games could look like with all these added features on here. It will take backwards compatible games to a whole nother level. Like all this stuff about, oh man, who plays old games? I guarantee you, when people start seeing the games pop like that on their televisions, they will go back.
Dude, I
There
just
is no doubt about it.
downloaded
No doubt about it.
Sonic Generations last night because it's a game with gold, and I play old games. I am praying now that Ninja Theory, you know, they are first party under Xbox. I'm praying that they make available at some point in time Kung Fu Chaos. It was one of my favorite games on the OG Xbox. I love the presentation. I love the art. I love how it didn't take kind of like its scenery seriously. You would see kind of like you would see the strings and stuff for the background kind of like sets, because it was supposed to be like old school kung fu movie sets or whatnot. And I just absolutely love like the aesthetics of that game and all that good stuff. And I've been wanting that to go back compat. Yo, Ninja Theory, if you're listening, hook a brother up, man. Come on, yo.
There's still a couple of more backwards compatible games I would like to see. I would like to see Wet come back. Definitely. Dang it, I just had it in my head and it just left me. 99 Nights. I would like to see that and its sequel come back, because I could just imagine what that game was beautiful back then. I could just imagine what that game would look like coming on the Series X. And then there's a couple of others that I have that kind of come to mind, but that I can't think of their names. But I mean, wow! Like it's crazy to think about what gamers are going to be getting, and even if the price is $600, I mean, do you really call this a ripoff, or do you call this the ultimate bargain? I mean, because if it's $500, it's like a steal, in my opinion. I'm like
600, brother.
Yeah, if it's 600, I'm still looking at this as a bargain, like no other. If it's 500, then like Xbox is getting hustled.
Yo, if it's 500, I
so,
could see you leaving the store with it tucked like underneath your jacket, looking
man,
around like you just stole it, man.
I'm looking around, man, getting the hell out of there, because I just stole an Xbox, because I swear, $500 coming out the store with all of these features in it, and then we'll get to see, and we're just seeing just the tip of the iceberg right now. Like, I can see why they were so confident on wanting to show the Xbox or reveal what it looked like and all that, because the main thing I think a lot of people would have been more concerned about was talking, if they did like a reveal like about now, would be the look of the console more so than what the components are, because I think everybody's over if they like how the design is for the box or not. But now everybody is getting the true meat inside of what's going on in that box. And man, I'm telling you, man, we're in for a treat. Gamers are in for a damn treat.
The funny thing with looking at the box, like, because they showed kind of like its internals, and they had people kind of like building it back up and sliding it back into the case. Dude, that thing is jam-packed. Like, that thing is absolutely packed with stuff, man.
I got to give a big shout out to my boy Yobi, man. Thank you, Yobi. Of course, man. I got to do this. Every time, man. K-Mega, a.k.a. the best all around, a.k.a. giving these suckers the business in MK, a.k.a. the Don's Pappy, a.k.a. Legendary Mega, b.k.a. Next favorite mixer streamer, aka forever giving the Don these L's, BKA chosen. Damn, Yobi, bro.
Whoa,
that is
all
excellent.
caps, brother.
All caps, son.
All caps.
All caps, sucker.
Yeah, and shout out to the Don who doesn't receive L's kindly either. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, yeah, Don. Yeah, and you get to see Don's face or whatever. But then when Don gets me back, he's got to look at my face, because it's like, you know, we're tight buds, but man, we got that drive to want to beat each other's ass.
Oh
so
yeah, no doubt. Like when you get three of us like playing like Forza or something like that, it's kind of incredible all the way around, man.
Yeah, people might think that we don't like each other at
Yo,
point
for real. Yo, Chris, it is not my job to confirm Twitter rumors when it comes to the PlayStation. Do you know whose job it is to confirm rumors and actually share specs? That would be Sony, brother. All I
Uh,
gotta say.
or the people that are supposedly insiders for Sony, they need to be putting out that information and making videos talking about
Well,
that. But
he said
yeah,
something to me that I told you with the 12.1. I was like, somebody on Twitter rumored out 12.1. It's 12.155 T-flops graphical power, and that is the same person who stated that the PS5 is going to be slightly over 13 T-flops of graphical power. And
now
when
I
it
wonder. Hold on, but let me ask this question. Now, okay, there was a point that's being brought up. I also think somebody brought that up in the chat as well. I'm gonna have to look at that again, see if I find it. Where the okay, this thing right here where it's he says 13.5 gigabytes of RAM, 100 gigabyte dedicated memory to developers is massive. That's how Ninja Theory's managed to make the textures in that open world look so good, right? So, okay, when you brought up the fact of how much how the capabilities of that the X can get to 13 T flops or whatever that you just said, is that where they're getting the idea of maybe the PlayStation? Because I'm hearing mostly that
well,
these consoles are not going to be that far apart, but maybe that its capability can get to 13.3 teraflops instead of it actually being 13.3 teraflops. Or do you actually think that this rumor could be true?
Well, see, when it comes to the PlayStation, let's be honest here. Sony
Hmm.
hasn't really said anything. Sony, they have been touting their SSD quite a lot. They had the kind of like running through the Spider-Man world, and how fast that ran through.
Hmm.
All showing like the SSD. I will state from what I've seen from people that I don't really share things until it's pretty solid, right?
Right. Me
But for
too. Me
what
too.
I've seen, the PlayStation 5 will have a quicker SSD. Their R&D and their modifications, they went heavy on the SSD for the PS5. Okay,
Right.
in terms of graphical power, we're gonna have to wait and see. It is on the table for 13, so we're looking from a range of anywhere from a little over 9 to a little over 13. That's a pretty wide range
That's
to
a
try
pretty big gap,
to
Jack, and
try
they
to
can't.
try to narrow
Yeah.
it down, man.
Right,
Like,
and they can't do that within less than a year. They would have to do that. They would already have to put that on the
it would,
table of where they want to do
anything like that right now, like
it.
it would already be in the system. The only
Right.
thing, the only thing they can do to upgrade systems right now, which Xbox has actually come out and said when it comes to clock speeds, right? PlayStation, if for some rhyme or reason they feel like they got to get a little more juice out of the system, they can try to up their clocks, CPU side, GPU side, all that good stuff. Which the interesting thing here is when it comes to the Series X and the information that we got today. K Mega, do you like how I brought it right back to the topic there, man? I came
Absolutely, I
right
like that.
back.
I like
Yo,
it.
they said that there is going to be no boost for the clocks, the GPU, CPU. What you're seeing in terms of numbers on the screen when it comes to the CPU and the GPU, that is the clock speed. They're not going any higher. They're not allowing any type of boost mode or anything like that. And the reason why is they want to focus on efficiency and
Right.
performance all the way through this machine. And I think that was a great decision, man.
Oh, I absolutely think the same thing as well. I don't listen. I mean, that's where you're going to start getting games if they could mess with overclock it and get it. I mean, that's where you're going into a whole nother level of stuff where um, it you can have games crash on you. You can have all these different types. You can have the game may look better than we've ever seen a game look, but it only runs like at 20 frames per second. You know what I'm saying? If they, we have no, just keep it to where it's all about performance. Keep it. People want stability in there. If they want the 60 frames per second, they wanted to see if the games could get to the 120 frames. That's fine. I'm just all about the 60 frames, 4K 60 frames. I'm good. If I'm pretty sure that there will be big enough games to be out there that's going to be
Well,
for 4K 30. But I think for the games that's already out now, let's say just like for The Witcher or for let's just say the Division games like this, uh, that's running fine on the Series X at 4K 60. That's fine with me. I'm not looking to get 120, all that type of stuff. If it goes there, great. But yeah, just keep it efficient.
Dude, if
Just
you
let
can
it
run
run
if you can run
smooth.
Forza Horizon 3 and Forza Horizon 4 at 120 frames per second, you're gonna do it, man. Don't don't
I
even.
mean, I'll do if they got a mode, I'll try it. No doubt about it. Like I said, yeah, fighters, shooters, and sports games, I'll definitely rev up the frames per second. But when it comes to, but I've been adamant about this, and I'm not going to change. But when it comes to me for my single player experience, when it comes to big open world games, if it's at 60. I'm fine. If I don't care about if it has 100 and 120 frames. If it do have it, I guarantee you, because every time when I play these games, I don't pick I don't pick performance mode. I pick the graphics mode. I want to see it pop. I don't mind it
Yeah.
being I don't mind it having lesser frames. I want the game to give me the best visuals that I bought this TV to show, and that's way more important to me than frames. And I'm saying that only with single player experiences. But with multiplayer, no, let that bitch rip if you want to do it. But single player, no, I'm not that. It's not that big of a deal for me.
I got you, bro. And
But I mean, I know that it is for a lot of other people. I'm not trying to discredit what they think and what they want. I'm sure the system is going to be capable of doing what I'm just giving from my perspective of how I feel about it. But yeah, no, if they can rev it up to 120 frames, go ahead. I mean, what about you, Bud?
well,
Are you all down for playing? Let's say the Witcher at 120 frames?
Again, I gotta be in the same boat with you on that. Single player experiences, you want to be fully immersed in the world. You do want the gameplay mechanics to be fluid as well, though. All right, that's part of the
Right.
immersion. So,
Right.
Whatever level gives that level that captures me is where I'll go. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I play Forza Horizon 4. I play it in kind of like its quote unquote graphics mode. Just for the simple fact that when I'm racing at night, to see the shadows cast from the headlights, the fences on the side of the road, the trees, the cars in front of you. When you go into performance mode and it's 60 frames per second, stuff like that doesn't exist. All right,
Right.
and I like having that extra layer of realism, especially when I'm racing. Man, I get into like racing games. I am such the cleanest racer in Forza. So,
Boy, we won't have to end this show pretty quick, because lightning is going to strike you.
nah, bro. But when it comes down to it, case by case scenario. So say like I'm going in arena on Halo 5, Halo Infinite, going in on the super sweaty competitive kind of like arena. That's when I'll think about, what, let me switch modes, let me go to like 120 frames or something like that. Let me make sure I have the smoothest kind of like the smoothest feel for the gunplay and all that good stuff, to kind of make sure there's not even the littlest bit of disadvantage for me personally. That's just
Right.
that's
No,
just
I get
the way
it.
I am.
Yeah, even with Forza, I'm looking at somebody in the chat. They're saying that they go with the 60 frames per second instead, and I get that. I mean, like I said, racers, shooters, fighters. But with Forza 4, it's so beautiful, and 3. I mean, all the Forza Horizons are all the Forzas actually are really beautiful. But I'm saying in the sense of the Forza 4. That mode, I go with. I don't go with the performance mode. I go with the visuals. I'm like, man, I want to see this game pop. Maybe that's why sometimes I get left in the dust sometimes. But look,
Hey.
what I need to do when I start
But
racing people, I just need to
that
put
second or third or
play on
fourth
the
place will
on the
look
PC.
as good as it can possibly look when you get it, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. I'm just going to turn on the PC and play with you guys, and we'll get all that.
No,
gone and taken away.
Jay, right now, no, it doesn't, man. But as these things are coming out and as these TVs are put out there and they're more generalized to the public, then prices will go down and all that good stuff. So yeah, no, it doesn't do 120 right now. We'll see what happens in the future. And I gotta say, shout out to my brother Dragonheart Yobi for hooking me up with the TV that I use today to play games. It has the 4K the HDR, and it's basically, you know, Mega, it's Yobi that got me to realize how much high dynamic range really meant in a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Thank you, Yobi, so much for letting it. Because I was getting tired. I mean, me and Don was getting tired of him.
I was like, super
giving
sampling, man.
Yeah,
Super sampling.
and then trying to give that excuse. Oh man, it looks, man, the X is making it. I'm like, yeah, I get it, because when I was using my Elgato, you got to play games in 1080p, and yeah, it still looks fantastic, but it's not. But it don't have the HDR, and of course it's also about your television too. Man, no. You got the HDR10 is the game changer, and especially if you have with what's on these newer televisions, the FreeSync and things like that, to where it takes away the tearing and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Well,
it's next level.
Well, brother, let's get back. Let's get back into you know, the information that was put out today. Let's get into the what I'm calling the return of the memory card in some aspect, but just like a memory card on steroids. They showed that Microsoft is working with Seagate, and they are making proprietary SSDs that plug into the back of the Series X. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a different range of, you know, memory size there. I'm pretty sure there's going to be 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, all that good stuff. Now, the cool thing about this is when you plug the SSD in, it links right up to the system on the chip, you know, the SoC. So there's no kind of like bobbling back and forth between, like, you know, getting the information transitioned to the system to play. They got a direct link to you know, the CPU, GPU, and the game goes directly into that to start playing. What do you think about this? Like, I know I'm hyped about this because I'm already thinking about, you know, having an SSD kind of like dedicated to sports, one dedicated to you know, have different kind of like categories marking my SSDs the way I used to do with my memory cards now, and that'll free up the 1 terabyte SSD in the system, that if developers really want to utilize that memory, because they can utilize that memory as virtual memory for the games that they're making, which is where I think you read that 100 gigabytes kind of like there for developers to use. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking I would more or less have like different SSD memory cards that I would have like my different sports games on and stuff like that. What do you think about the return of the memory card? Do you like this decision, man?
It's cool because of the fact that that you can get a lot more efficiency through this SSD than you can. I mean, I guess, you know, trying to do it the old-fashioned way. The only problem that I have with it, though, is that thing doesn't look very big. It looks small, which means it can be easily lost. So your idea of having multiple ones, hell to the no. I'm not doing that. If you can give me a 10 gig, you know what I'm saying? A 10 terabyte,
10
a 8 or a 10 terabyte, I'm copping it. And
dude, that's gonna be expensive, brother.
I don't give two shits. I'm gonna pay them. If it's $300-400, I don't care. I'm gonna cop it, because that right there will take care. Will let me add all of my games that I have on there. Thank goodness for hard drive transfer that you got available on your Xbox. And so that should take no time to transfer my games over there to that. And you can also, they also have a thing to where you can kind of switch it over another way. I forgot what that's called, but yeah, no, I want to get the biggest one that they have available, and it may not be that big. It might be one for 4 or 5 terabytes, but I'm not going to buy multiple, because to me, you'll still be spending almost just about as much as I would be overall if you're buying all of these different cards at the end of the day. So so if I get if I could get the biggest one that they have available, put it in, and just keep it, I think it'll still be quick and efficient that way, and then they can still have enough room for developers to do whatever they want to do within that space.
Nice. Now, brother, with the SSD, and we're gonna get into the 1 terabyte storage that's actually inside the system as well. But with the SSD, another thing that they were talking about with this proprietary SSD quote unquote memory card is the fact that it has a heat sink built into the memory card. Man, to me, attention to detail like that. I'm not a PC guy, but to hear, PC guys say that there's a certain amount of performance fade as the SSD kind of heats up, you don't get the same quality performance that you do when you first start up the system when the SSD is nice and cool. For them to think about and implementing their own heatsink into something as small as a memory card type device, that's impressive to me, bro. What do you think, man?
Oh no, that's real impressive. I mean, like again, they're going for efficiency. They don't want to have any issues. Within that, I understand that, as early adopters to any console, there's going to be some kind of issue going down. I mean, it happened with me with the X. It happened with me with the PlayStation. It's happened with every console that I've had. There's always been some kind of issue. But except for I should say the OG Nintendo, the NES. That's the only console that I never had any issues with, except for blowing in the cartridge. But
dude, I used to have to put a game in, put it down, and put another game in on top of it to make my games run on the original NES, getting towards like the end of like that era. You know what I'm saying? So
I never did that. I just would blow it and then I would grab it and I would slam it a couple of times, like and then slam it down and then it'll pop on. But anyway.
Memories, brother, memories.
Yeah, memories. But I think it's all shit. I forgot what we was talking about now because I'll get to have my mind on this.
SSD, the heat sink, man.
Oh, the heat sink, yeah. Like I said, the performance, everything with it that it's want to keep it cool, not let it run hot. I think that's the main thing that these guys, I think that and PlayStation, that they don't want these consoles to run hot and burn out, because then they could turn to another ring of death if they have any malfunctions like that to where these consoles will run hot. So that's why it looks the way it looks. That's why they add all these cooling systems. It looks, I really appreciate that. And then also, I know somebody said here in the chat that they said you can still use your old externals, which I saw that too. Man. but for me, it's going to be so much faster on that SSD. So instead of using my old hard drive, I can hook that up to something else, or put it on my PC or whatever, and just go to town and let my games even run better by using that SSD. So that's how I look at it like that.
You can, because there's going to be a transition period. It seems you're definitely going to get a Series X. I think everybody out there.
I'm just waiting for the pre-order.
That transition period, if you got an external HD now, you put all your older games on there, and then when you get your Series X, you transfer it to the system and have the system put it into whatever SSD that you have, like, have one labeled like old school or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
And you can just, use it to transfer. But shout out. I'm trying to see who said that real quick, because that was an awesome point.
John B.
John B. Not to be confused
with our John B. Don B. Yeah, not Don B. Yeah,
no, but John B. is in the building. Thank you, brother, for sharing that information as well. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more extensive research on everything that they shared and what exactly it means, because, with being kind of like self-taught for so many years when it comes to specs and hardware and stuff, I feel like I can put it out there in what they would call a layman's term. A term that, people who don't look into this stuff can kind of easily understand. So I'm going to be doing extensive research on this, the same way I'm going to be doing extensive research when Sony decides they're going to share details about the PlayStation 5 as well. So, stay tuned on this channel for that. I got to say, 1 terabyte SSD, like, inside the system, I personally was hoping for at least 2 terabytes. We see the size of games now, and you can only imagine what the next generation games are going to be in terms of like download and the size on your drive inside your system. I got to ask you, Mega, were you a little disappointed on 1 terabyte inside the system, or are you okay with that, bro?
No, that's very disappointing. That because these games are. I mean, look, we got Destiny is 100 and some gigs. Halo
100
is
some
already
gigs.
yeah 100 and some gigs. Gears is 100 and some gigs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, listen, no, I mean, if you want to have just 8 to maybe 12 games on they're available. I understand that most people don't buy games like we buy, but if you wanting to have Game Pass and people to download games on a continuous basis, and then of course you're gonna have new games that's going to be available. Plus you're going to have backwards compatibility. You got to rev that up and give people more than that. I'm not saying to give people like 10 terabytes, but if you can give them at least 4 terabytes, I would think that would at least
I,
3.
I
I
would
mean,
say
you can't.
2, man. I
Yeah,
would say 2.
okay, two is fine. Well, but yeah, one is it's not even it'd be that's what I'm saying. Like, what would be the purpose of that? Like, I wouldn't be down with that. I would think it would be more because these games. Just think of how much space it's going to take with ray tracing. HDR, of course. That's what these X enhanced games. And just think about for a second. Let's say if you're still going back and playing Gears 5, right? That's 100 and some gigs, right? Um, add on these new uh Series X enhancements. We're talking about anywhere from that thing might be 200, almost close to 200 gigs. That's
Now,
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, no, they need to give a little bit bigger. I'm what I'm saying, I understand you don't want to rob the bank. You know what I'm saying by saying, hey, we'll give you 3 terabytes for $10. But I'm just saying it's like you gotta give a bigger storage. But maybe overall they're like, look, we're gonna have some. That's why I think that there's going to be some deals with the SSD. I don't think they're going to be expensive as some people project them to be because of what they're seeing with prices now. I think that they'll do some cost cutting and get it down to a sustainable price to where people can afford the bigger drives because they're going to need them. There is no doubt about it with all these
well,
games that are going to be
well,
available.
well. And shout out again to the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. Dropping in, bits of information and stuff like that. John B said that they had that compression is a lot better, so it might not be as big as you think. I want to throw something else out there. Again, this is something I've been thinking about and waiting for signs to be able to talk about. Now, with machine learning, and we're seeing what it's doing with like older games, instilling HDR in games that don't even have that code in it and all that good stuff. Mega, I'm gonna. Do you remember back? I think it was about a month or two ago. Information came out that Microsoft was working with a machine learning type situation where the download of the game, they can lower the assets, lower the textures, and make download size of a game very, very small, and use machine learning to bring those assets back up to 4K when they are run. So inherently putting a smaller footprint for that Gears, for that Destiny, for that Halo, taking up a lot smaller, part of your drive inside the system, and still getting all the benefits and the performance. Now, I haven't seen this actually done yet, but do you think maybe that's why it's a 1 terabyte in terms of this system? I have another option as well, but what do you think about that? Do you think now that we know there's machine learning, there's ML in this system, do you think that they're going to be trying to utilize that kind of like bringing the textures and stuff up to 4K through machine learning other than just downloading them all at that resolution?
I don't know. That one's one of those things where I'm just looking at it. If they do, that's another impressive feat. And I would hope that there would been something that they talked about today as well. But I mean, hopefully they'll bring it up. Digital Foundry or somebody will bring that up if that's the case. Because if they did do that, then now we're talking crazy tech that, like, I don't know, man, that would be really impressive. And yeah, I mean, if they did it, then that would be cool. I mean, I don't know how much. I'm pretty sure if you did have something like that, uh, would it be to where you have to buy a certain product? Because it's like we was talking about in the before we started the show, is that, look, I'm not buying no Mad Catz SSD drive.
Yo, no
You know what I'm
third
saying?
party, no
Yeah,
third party. Not for
I
an
ain't
SSD, bro. No.
Hell no. You can go ahead and be cheap if you want to, and
Pelican
buy,
back in the day. Pelican.
yeah, buy something that's called yeah, so I don't even know what the hell it'd be called, but it's 1999. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead and get your Series X to burn up from within, because I'm not trusting it.
The
If
memory
don't
card
say
will
Xbox
melt down
or,
the back of the system.
right. Yeah, no, I ain't doing that. So, no, if they do have something like that, and maybe you might have to have a certain type of a special drive to use to get that, then that would be great. But I have no idea. I can't touch that one. That's all on you, bud.
Here's the other thing. Again, guys, on this channel, we don't pander to one side or the other. We realize these are corporations, and corporations want to make money. One thing that Sony has done, throughout the years, was to make proprietary pieces to their systems that, if you wanted this extension, you would have to buy like Sony's, which, they changed it up with the PS4 kind of like later in the generation. You can plug in any external, all that good stuff. But the other option is with the 1 terabyte, they want you to buy multiple memory cards, because I want to keep that 1 terabyte that's in the device. I want to keep that free of games for when developers will kind of like utilize any of that memory to add into, the game that they're making for the system. When it comes down to it, if I purchase a Series X, I will invest in a couple memory cards, SSDs, just to keep the games off of the internal drive. So this way, if the developers want to utilize that memory as virtual memory, there's nothing on there, to even minutely mess with that whole process. You see what I'm saying? So the other option is they went 1 terabyte here because they want to sell the Seagate SSD memory cards. That's an option as well, right?
Right, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's not a partner with Xbox when it comes to these cards, I'm not buying them. But yeah, I'm just going to go the opposite. Like I said, your method will probably will work, but I think my method will work as well, because I'm not going to go for wherever the largest size that they have available. I'm not going to let them. I'm not going to fill it completely up, especially if I got one that's like,
Keep at least
8
half
terabytes
out there, man.
I'll leave. I mean, if I got an 8 terabyte, I would go ahead and probably use about maybe 5 terabytes with games, and that would still give plenty enough of space for them to do whatever that they want to do. I wouldn't completely fill it up, not like, because like I got a 4 terabyte external drive right now, and that thing is filled to the. I got, what I'm saying, I can only hold. Which I know that sounds crazy, but I can only hold like 260 games, I think. So, what I'm saying? But I would just kind of want to have, because there's still some other games that I want to hold within, and just kind of get mostly all of my library in there, and let it be set. But I'm only going to go to 5 and just let whatever, keep everything else to be efficient enough to where I don't have to cram it and they can't use it for whatever they want to do.
Yeah, then it has to go with whatever base design and
Right,
not using
yeah,
the extra
no.
memory and stuff like
Yeah,
that to kind of get
yeah.
the extra bells and whistles in there. We want the bells and whistles. We are
Absolutely
bells and whistles people here. Yo, huge shout out to everybody coming to hear our thoughts. Yo, Z Black Rider, a long time supporter of this channel. And us personally, I love having Z in there. Yo, Cletus, what is going on? Six Slayer, Jay
What's up,
Slayer.
Sick?
Jay Slayer J, also a longtime supporter of everything on this channel. It's good to see you. There's some guy in the chat, literally. His name is some guy, and we've seen that name quite often as well. What is up, Craig Lewis? What is up, everybody? If you
King
have
Mo, somebody who I always see, Cletus Johnson. He's always a GRG. No Russian, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? You know, you got to get Christopher Hart's here. I don't know what the hell is he talking about that he's got blocked on GRG. He is not.
well,
you know
he's a moderator here, so
yeah. So and I don't, I always see him, but I mean, I guess maybe
and he still tries to be mean to me, man.
Maybe the moderator sees Chris and he starts doing his stuff and he says, no, we're just gonna take away what you're saying, sucker. But no, we don't do it. But yeah, what's going on? And big shout out to my boy 108 Dragons. He had his birthday party. He was showing out. He was hanging out with some hip hop legends. It was pretty crazy.
Dude, I saw the picture and I was gonna be like, yo, he just went in there for a beer and you just happened to be there. Like,
hey man, I'm gonna tell you this just real quick. It was pretty wild because he's always telling these wild stories, right? And I remember when we first met him, I was like, this dude would be lying his ass off, right? So me and 100 and him was in the store. We was over here getting some stuff. We was having a barbecue when we was in LA, and all of a sudden there was this dude that came out of nowhere, and he said, "Hey, I know you." And we turned around and I said, "Oh shit, it's about to be some fun." So of course we all mean mug like, who the hell is this dude, right? So he comes up, he says, "No, what's up? I just want to shake this man's hand. Do y'all know who this dude is?" And I was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, his name is Lemon." You know what I'm saying? He's like, he says, "Man, y'all don't know who he is." Like, man, dude, he be playing out there playing ball, man. He used to be a ball up legend. And me and 100 looking at each other like, what? Like, man, no. I said, "Man, how much did this dude pay you?"
Yo, for real.
Like, yeah, no. He's like, "No, you don't know." And Lemon just cracking up, smiling. I told you. It was crazy though. So, and then like another stuff that he talks about and stuff and everything. And when we ran into Hip Hop Gamer, Hip Hop Gamer knew exactly who they were, and then they started talking about all these rappers and shit, and they knew. And then I'm like, what's going on? Who the hell is this dude here? And I was like, what the hell? But it was pretty cool though. It was pretty cool. But shout out to my boy for his birthday, man.
Nice. And again, guys, if you haven't done it yet, definitely hit that thumbs up button. We are gonna get into, I guess, something Christopher Hart has wanted for us to talk about. Shout out to Christopher Hart in the chat as well. Let's get into the controller, because when it comes down to it, they didn't redesign the controller. They more or less, from what I'm hearing from the videos, they say they refined the controller. They made it a little bit smaller on top. Of course, they added the share button, so now there's a share button on Xbox the same way there is on PlayStation, the same way there is on a Nintendo Switch, and from what I'm hearing, like the development of the controller, it had a lot to do with lowering latency as much as possible. Digital Foundry, our boy Austin on YouTube, basically said the same thing. Everything that they went in for redesigning this thing, it was all underneath the hood. So, I got to ask you what you think about the controller. And yes, guys, there is a door, and it will have a battery cavity in there. So it'll take 2 AA batteries, or it'll take the battery pack. You can get a battery pack for it as well, which is something that I have personally used from the 360 days when they were offering a battery pack. The battery packs, I feel, last an incredibly long time. But what do you think about what they're doing with the controller? Do you think that it was a good idea to not necessarily redesign it on the outside? And what do you think about the development and what they're doing in terms of putting time in on absolutely lowering any input latency that comes with this controller? And of course, what do you think about it having batteries, replaceable batteries, bro?
Excellent. I am not a fan of just having an external battery that you cannot take out of a controller. To me,
it's in the Elite version too, man.
I know, but once that thing goes off, that's it. Good luck trying to get your money back from that thing. Once it's over, it's over. Like, it's got a life. Don't know how long it will be, but I guarantee you, if I take care of my controllers, I'll still have my controller to play with those batteries or with a battery pack. And you'll have to put that thing somewhere on the shelf, in a box, in the trash, at the attic, whatever. But regardless, that thing is going to eventually fade away like the dinosaur, just like what the PS4 does. And I know that it's not, the PS4 controller is not anywhere in the same level as the Elite.
Dude, I had so many
controller.
problems with the PS4 controller, dude. I really
Yeah,
did.
yeah, that light. Yeah, I can't wait to see how they're going to redesign that controller. But regardless, no, the only cosmetic that I've seen from the outside was that they're trying to do something again with the D-pad, which has always been
Oh
that.
yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's always something that needs to be tweaked, because it's gotten better. And of course on the Elite, the D-pad feels great, but with the regular D-pad on the Xbox controller, it's not. It's still, it feels a little bit too bulky, or it just doesn't. Especially when you play fighters, it just isn't as crisp as it is with the PlayStation. So looks like they're trying to change that up a little bit, go a little bit old school 360-ish with that design. It might work. I don't know. It's just got to see how it feels. But I do like the fact that it does, for the components inside, is that it's going to be a lot more responsive, and it will help you. And that's what the other thing with the ML, that what it's going to do to get your TV to whatever, how your TV works, to make your controller work more efficiently as well too, which I thought that was really cool, where they were saying that you get a better response time, you won't have that lag. So ML is going to help not only with your television to get synced up the best way that it can properly, graphically and everything else, but it also is going to help out your controller and get your controller to be a little bit more responsive, instead of having that little dead zone that some people usually show with the Xbox controller. So I mean, they have hitting on all cylinders on
They're
this.
hitting like all the points, brother.
Right, and then they also said that, of course, you can still use your old controllers, and the ML will do an update to those controllers to,
there's
going to
be a firmware. There's going to be a firmware update that. Another thing about the new controller is USB-C as well. So if you are a wired gamer, the USB-C has a better connectivity than your standard micro USB. So that as well is just a better connection to the system if you're a wired controller guy,
right.
or lady, you know what I'm saying? Yo, shout out to Gene Mark Lewis. Yo, thank you for hitting up that super chat. He says the PS5 is 9.2. The Sony fanboys need to accept it, brother.
I'm not. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
We're not here to bash one system or anything like that.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that either. I mean, for all indications, it looks that way, but you never know. It's like I've said before, Sony could be this quiet for one or two reasons. One is that they're holding all their cards in one place, and then they're just going to throw their hand out, and it's going to be all aces. You know what I'm saying? It could be that, or they could really be in some trouble trying to scatter around, trying to get shit together, because they was expecting Xbox to knock it out the park like that. That's the only two options of why they're being so cautious right now. So I don't know. So they could hit us with the Kablooa blast and say 13.3 teraflops, and then for everybody that's been touting this, these teraflop situations, it's gonna look bad for a lot of people. So just wait until Sony reveals what they're gonna do.
There's new hardware coming out.
There's
new hardware coming out, dude. You had me nervous. I thought you were gonna use the C word. And, from what's going on in the world today, which, YouTube doesn't like that. If you use the C word, that beer out there, they don't like you.
I call it the T virus. That's what I call it.
In terms of the replaceable batteries, I actually, myself.
Oh, Lewis hit you up in the chat again.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yo, G. Mark Lewis, thank you again for hitting up that super chat. Digital Foundry said it's unlikely to change. All right. So, with that being said, I mean, but dude, we're not gonna, we're trying to be the most kind of like common sense gamers out there. You know what I'm saying? We're really putting it down, even keeled. I would think, going with all the rumors, I would lean more towards the 9.2 as being more credible. A bunch of different sources has come out with that number, more than the 13. All right, but at the end of the day, Sony hasn't said anything yet. When Sony says something, we will be going live and talking about it as well. So, it's kind of like a wait and see thing. And I know people out there, whether you're a Sony fan, whether you're an Xbox fan, even Switch fans, if you're just a fan of gaming, you want to know something from Sony at this point in time. Like, we're getting everything when it comes to the Series X, and it's like, well, let me hear what else. Like, I have options here. Let me hear my other option and details for that other option. And they have been silent so far. Yo, shout out to Thomas Franks hitting up that super chat. What is up, brother?
What up, Thomas?
He says, what's up, Xbox 448 and my brother K Mega Xbox?
No doubt, and man, and thank you for giving me that, sending me that information, Thomas. Because like I said, I was not.
He sends you information. Don't send anything to me. Like
no.
At least you send it to my brother, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Because normally when I get stuff too from him, I'll send it to you guys anyway. So I mean, it's like, hey, So.
Yeah, definitely. GRG next podcast, we share information back and forth like all the time.
Yeah, and talk a lot of trash too.
Yeah,
in there
well, because their gameplay cannot hold a candle to the next podcast gameplay.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I'm
saying. And now we got Crispy throwing it in too, brother.
You barely won, and that was old gameplay because you didn't want to show my new gameplay, which would have destroyed you. But
again, we're not opening that closet. Moving on. My whole thing with the controller. First off, I think they went the right route. When it comes down to it, a lot of people consider the design of the Xbox controller as the design, the most comfortable, the proper placement of the thumbsticks, with the batteries. I like having options. All right. And I know there are people that try to throw this controller, in the trash and stuff like that and say, well, that's so old. Look at what PlayStation is doing. First off, I feel like the Xbox controllers, either with the batteries or the battery pack, they hold the charge a lot longer. All right, so you get to game a lot more before you have to think about switching batteries or charging, charging your controller. With that being said, I do have an issue with the newer kind of like regular controllers, and I know me. I've said this to you, Mega. I said this to Don. Everybody on Next. Like, for some rhyme or reason, the newer controllers for the Xbox One, I had that white sport one. I had the red sport one, and they always broke on me. They always broke on me. Where the earlier versions, going back closer to like the launch of the Xbox One, they last for me. So I don't know what they did there, but I'm hoping maybe is this a me issue? Am I just like manhandling my controllers too much? I have the Elite version too, and so far that's been great. But when it comes to the newer versions of the Xbox One controllers, I seem to be breaking them all the time. Do you think that's a me thing, or is that something that they hopefully will address with this controller? And kind of build it sturdier, man.
Like bricks. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, lotion. Tell Snaps to give your hands some TLC. No, I'm playing. No, I mean, it just happens. I mean, it's because I try to be as chill with my controllers as possible. And even with
You can't do
me,
that
I
in
mean,
Ori 2, man. You will be slamming that
well, I mean,
stick left and right, yo.
I know, but see, it's like because I went and I bought like 4 more controllers because GameStop had a deal for for the regular controllers, and I was like, man, I want that Elite too, but man, you know what I'm saying, I got to find out. That's what I'm saying, give it 6 to 8 months, and then uh get a good perception of how that one lasts compared to the Elite One. So, because I bought 2 Elite 1s, and I'm like, Xbox, I love how these controllers feel, but man, you know what I'm saying? And I don't call myself being heavy on these or hard on those controllers at all, but that rubber would come off, things like that, whatever. Um, yeah, no, there's only 2 controllers that I've had for the Xbox One that just clunked out on me because of just overuse, and that was the Day One edition. Um, and I actually liked that, but it was too light. I like that they're bringing more heavier uh controllers now because you got the overall controller itself for Xbox is just perfect. Except for, well, it can't be perfect if you got some niches with it, but it's almost close to perfect, except for, like I said, the digital and the weight. The OG the 360 controller had the proper weight,
Had a
and that
good
bad
weight
boy,
to it, yeah.
yeah, it had a great weight to it. And even though the digital was absolutely ass juice, the thing of it was is that it didn't ever go. That bad boy is not going to break. If you broke a 360 controller, then it had to be because you threw it at somebody or you threw it on the ground. Or just hit it with a hammer. Those things were sturdy as hell. So if they could keep the same type of design of what they did and make the new controller more sturdier, I think that they got a winner. And then just keep on working with the digital until you get it right, and then you don't ever have to change the Xbox controller after that, in my opinion. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Now, with that, I think we went through basically, grabbing our first impressions and all that good stuff. Again, I will let you guys know this is not the end of it for me on this channel when it comes to this subject. I will be looking in more on exactly the information that was shown, but I wanted to let you guys know kind of like what we thought. When you first see these videos, and then what kind of sticks with you, those are the points. Those are the things that mean the most to the gamer. When you watch like new details, new information. I believe we're gonna have a GDC type stream from Xbox later on this week. I'm trying to get a panel together for that to be able to go in on that. Now that might be a little more boring to some people because they're talking to developers unless they spice it up a little bit, knowing that they're not actually at GDC this time. But it's going to be interesting to see that. K Mega, any final words on what we saw today before we kind of wind it down and give props to the chat and let people know where they can find us and everything. Any final words on what we saw? Excitement level, stuff like that. What's going on with you, bro?
Yeah, somebody asked me what kind of cell phone do I use? I have the OnePlus McLaren edition. It's about, I think, what,
Oh, nice, brother. I'm a
yeah.
car guy, man. McLaren. Oh,
This phone, I got talking to it because I was going to get the Note 5. What was it? The Note 10, I think. I can't
I got
remember.
the Note 10 Plus.
Okay, yeah, I was going to get the latest Note, and because I didn't know at the time that there was 5G available in Oklahoma, I was like, word, really? And then but they only had 2 phones, which was the Note and this phone that I got.
Mhm.
And so I was still debating. And I said, no, I got to get the Note, man, because I'm
That
a big
McLaren
fan of
is
the Note.
nice, brother.
But but then this is the thing that got me, right, is when they didn't have, I thought they had the special edition uh, 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 note that it was like a Marvel edition, and I wanted that. That's, I was like, look, that my eyes said to it, but they didn't have it in stock, and they had just like the regular looking note, and then they showed me this phone, and it was going through it and everything, and then the price was the big difference as well, because this thing is like four to $500 cheaper. So I was like, oh shit, and then so I was like, oh well, hey, okay, all right, well, I'll give it a try. And even though it's different, because I'm used to the same type of I'm used to the note and how that works. It
The
took a little
UI.
time to get figured. Yeah, the UI, try to figure that out, but this damn thing is so damn fast. And so I always show my wife, which yeah, this is crazy saying wife now, but it's I'm showing my wife, and I always make fun of her. I say, feel how heavy my phone is. Woo, that 5G, because she accidentally broke her phone, and so she had to get some kind of crap phone. So I always make fun of her about it, and she's like, oh, give me that phone. I'm like, all right. But anyway, yeah. But that's the phone that I got. That's the phone I got. But yeah, glad to be here as usual. I'll probably do a video later on this evening. Not as in full detail about it. See if I can get some of these knuckleheads from the from each podcast. Maybe if you want to jump on with me tonight, if they got the time, and just talk about it for a little bit. Just shoot the shit, get our thoughts about what they think, and just go from there. So, but glad to be here again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, enjoying this little time off, so I might as well take advantage of it. So yeah, man.
Nice. And I definitely appreciate you coming through, man. Again, a lot of information came out. The return of memory cards, SSD, don't get it twisted, but memory cards was something that, it was actually more rumored on the PlayStation side. They're like, is this memory card or cartridge? So now I'm kind of thinking PS5 is going to have a proprietary memory card SSD situation as well. Exciting times, guys, when it comes
Look
down
at that little thing, man. Look at that thing. You talk about you're going to get about 5 or 6 of them. Hell no. I lose that thing. I mean, if I got 2 of them, I lose one forever. And
brother, I am really organized. I am really organized. That's the one thing about it. Like, when it comes down to it, people ask me where they put stuff in this house because, I have certain places that I put certain things, and I won't put them down anywhere else until I get to those places. So I'm bad with that. Like I'm really bad with that, man. So I can definitely have a few.
So
of
you're
those.
one of those guys. So you're one of those guys that got your canned goods all turning the same direction.
Dude, I used to work at Stop and Shop, brother. So yeah.
Jesus. Snaps, get out of there! Save yourself!
Yo, speaking of Snaps, I want to give a huge shout out to Snap It's Mel. It is our anniversary today.
It's our anniversary.
Oh.
Hey, it's our anniversary.
Yo,
there y'all go. Hey,
brother. Yo,
right,
shout out to her.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Congratulations to her for putting up with me for so long. Yeah, she is working right now. The kids are home. I have to make sure that they do their schoolwork and the regular stuff they would do at home as well. So it's an interesting, Monday in this house all the way around. Huge shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out. I see my brother Cali Rex in the building as well. I cannot go off air without shouting out Cali. Cali has been really active on Twitter, and of course, doing some crazy things on Dreams for the PlayStation 4. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep working hard, and every time you share something, man, it's always awesome. It's always awesome to see how much more advanced you're getting in that game, So shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Anthony Chipmunk. Thank you, brother. Congrats. Yes. Congrats to her, like I said, for putting up with me. But yeah, we're gonna wind it down, guys. There will be more information throughout the week on this channel, and of course, this Saturday, next podcast, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get kind of like thoughts and opinions from our brother Predator, our brother Crispy Bomb, dropping that hashtag Crispy Truth. Maybe the Don's gonna show up. Him and Dark Optimus did last week, so you never know what you're gonna get on that podcast, man. It's all I gotta say. So stay tuned on this channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button, yo. It helps out the video in the algorithm. If you hit the thumbs up button, if you comment, after the show, goes off air and it's just a video on YouTube, it definitely helps with the algorithm. It helps get the name out there and get people to think about possibly checking out this channel. This channel is growing. The podcast is growing, and it's all thanks to you guys. So I appreciate all of that. But
oh yeah, one more thing too. Check out the GRG podcast every Friday night. Check out this Friday's GRG on my channel, KMega405, and subscribe to all of it.
It's gonna be a crazy show, man. You're gonna have race tracing. You're gonna have bleeding green all over the place, man.
No, you know what I'm saying? No, it was actually a calm, subdued show. You know what I'm saying? It was still long, but it was a cool show. I mean, we got Lemon coming in. I thought he was partying, and he comes in saying he was
star Lemon.
I said, what the hell is going on, Lemon? What are you doing? He said, oh, I just woke up. I said, it's your birthday. You're old ass. What is going on, man? You're supposed to be partying. So he partied last night. So anyway. All right, yeah, but check us out, man, and check me out on Twitter as well. That's where you see me a lot on there, always acting up and getting people riled up.
You keep talking to this guy named Stan. Like I don't know what's going on with that. You keep talking to Stan, man.
And I know, and Stan always have all of these sock accounts because there's so many of these Stans. Anyway, so yeah.
Yo, guys, if you haven't done it yet, K-Mega's channel is KMega405. He is my partner in crime. We've been doing this like for so long together. If you're subscribed here, you need to be subscribed over there. Come on, guys. We've gone through all this together with you guys. So subscribe to my brother K Mega. And on that note, guys, have a great Monday. Go in if you haven't beat Ori 2 yet. Go in and beat it because I haven't beat it yet. And we'll be seeing you guys again real soon.
All right. Yeah, I gotta go and play music.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems.